One last story today I want to hit, and this is going to develop, I'm sure, more and more. In fact, tomorrow we have Congressman Louis Gohmert coming on with us to talk about these issues. But Washington is all abuzz about the news that more and more information is coming out, making very, very clear that during the time all of us thought that there was just a presidential campaign going on between Hillary Clinton and Donald Trump, you had the Hillary Clinton team, and apparently Hillary Clinton herself, being part of the effort to cook up this plan to, as a campaign tactic, as a campaign attack job, a Clinton dirty trick against her opponent, President Trump. You had Hillary Clinton cooking up the plan to claim there was collusion between the Russian people, or between Putin and the Russian leadership, and the Trump team. And so this, we talked about this last week, I think it was, that this was a huge bombshell that came out. So much, in fact, what came out were notes handwritten by then CIA Director John Brennan under Obama saying, yeah, you know, we got intel from Russia. And this is Russian intel telling them, hey, you know what? We've picked up, because obviously Russians are spying on the Clinton campaign. We've picked up, the Russians say, that Hillary's cooked up this plan to get, essentially, to start the whole campaign tactic of claiming that Trump, the Trump team, is colluding with the Russians somehow. So this is a kind of an amazing it's a spectacle to behold, really, from our end of things, because for the longest time, America, we had listened to 3+ years of the Mueller investigation, millions of dollars, lives ruined, fortunes ruined. We had the Trump presidency for the first 3 years, just seemingly overwhelmed with accusations, headlines every day at all the Democrat media mob sources, headlines every day talking about how, you know, latest little clue, maybe this is proof. And I mean, just the entire Trump presidency, the attempt of the left to overwhelm the Trump presidency and everything he wanted to do with allegations that all turned out to be a big fat lie. There was, as we finally learned after the Mueller investigation concluded, zero, zip, nada evidence of any kind of collusion between Trump and the Russians. And now we're on to the point of recognizing that we have, in fact, Hillary cooked up this idea herself. Well, the two things that are happening right now, we will be talking about more tomorrow with Congressman Louis Gohmert. One was, there was a tweet by President Trump. He's taking action again. And I want to ask Matt DeWanoff, this is the Trump tweet. Okay, here we have. I have fully authorized the total declassification of any and all documents pertaining to the single greatest political crime in American history, the Russia hoax. Likewise, the Hillary Clinton email scandal. No redactions. And what's so great about this is not actually a first-time thing. President Trump previously had said he had authorized. This is a reauthorization by President Trump of the declassifying of documents to get them out there for the American people to see. So now here we are. We're less than 4 weeks from the election, and President Trump is saying, hey, you know what already? Let's get them out there. So you have Attorney General Barr allegedly looking into, with Durham working underneath him, looking into what went on and who cooked all this up. This news now out, Trump is saying, and the news actually came out in part because the Director of National Intelligence, DNI, John Ratcliffe, released this to the Senate Judiciary Committee, and they in turn had this. So information is out there. Trump is saying, put it all out there. Put it all out there. Everything you have, put it out there. No redactions, declassify, get it out there. And I ask you, my friends, is that the action? Are those the words? Is that the choice of a man who feels guilty or has any fear about whatever happened about Trump-Russia collusion? Is that something you would do if you're Trump and you're thinking, oh, I got away with it, no one found out? These are the actions, these are the words, this is the mission of a president who knows there was nothing to it. He's demanding that this be put out for the American public to see, so you, the average American voter, can see what really happened, and you can see how the entire thing was cooked up by the American left. Next thing, that was Trump's tweet. So Sidney Powell, the attorney, the fabulous attorney for Lieutenant General Michael Flynn, who's still in her own battles defending him, she's now actually filed a motion for saying that the judge over the case, Emmett Sullivan, needs to recuse himself, just must be removed from the case because he's obviously acting. I think her most recent brief compared the words of Judge Emmett Sullivan in the hearing to Rachel Maddow. That is what it says, pretty funny. But anyway, back to her. She's weighing in on this too. So here's a Sidney Powell tweet in response to what President Trump said. Sidney Powell's tweet says, Dear Mr. President, I've mapped the wonderful, and if you have that one, guess not. Okay, there it is. Okay. Dear Mr. President, you must order the immediate declassification and fire those stalling tomorrow. And her point is, authorizing isn't strong enough. They can all still stall. And there's just fabulous point she's making. It's one thing for the president to say, okay, you have permission. I am telling you, you can if you want to. And she's saying, no, order it. Don't authorize, order it. Make these people release what they know. Make them release all these documents. And again, this would only be what Trump is doing because he knows he's innocent. He knows he was a victim of a fraud cooked up by the left. He knows it, and they know it. And so then you get to the question, okay, well, what is it that, would prevent at this point? Why doesn't Barr or Durham, why don't they release it all? They've gotten authorization from the president, and you get kind of worried. What is holding them up? One speculation floating around Washington is that some of the people whose bad actions, whose illegal actions might be exposed if this is all released, some of these people are in a position to hold other people under threat. I mean, if you're part of this whole effort and you realize if everything is released, unredacted, everyone sees everything, you realize, wow, I may be actually in trouble. I may get prosecuted. But these people who are under potential threat of prosecution also themselves are aware of many other national secrets, many other things that people don't know about. And so they are in a position to be threatening. And I don't know that this has happened, but there is definitely talk about this idea that they can't just release all of this without redactions because there are some threats coming from the people who might get prosecuted saying, you're going to put my name out there, I'm going to put X, Y, and Z out there. You're going to be hearing a lot of things the American public doesn't know. So maybe all that is weighed in the mix. But there was actually, in addition to that last tweet from Sidney Powell, something President Trump tweeted. He actually retweeted a cartoon someone had done. And this Matt the Wonderful, there it is. This is Attorney General Barr on the right. And I guess I think it's some comedian. I don't know who it is. Anyway, but the cartoon is obviously saying, for the love of God, arrest somebody. And I'm telling you, people, this is a sign. The president, well, you may like or not like his tweet, think he tweets too much, whatever you think about that. This is a president saying, Attorney General Barr, I've had about enough. I've had about enough. The American people, anyone paying attention, to be clear, if you listen to my show very often or other serious conservative thinkers, everyone paying attention understands what happened. There's no mystery about it. There may be some outlying people you didn't realize were involved. Everyone understands what happened. They understand all of the players. They understand the lies, the crimes, the felonies. They understand. So then you really have to get at the question, what is the reason not to release it now? Obviously, President Trump is pushing to have it out now. Obviously, the left is arguing that if Attorney General Barr or Durham were to release things now, it may be viewed as interfering with the fall election, that somehow it's weighing in unfair to the Democrats to put all this out last minute. Folks, it's unfair to the American people not to put it out. It's unfair. The American people have been waiting long enough and paid enough tax dollars to all of these people in Washington perpetrating this hoax, perpetuating the hoax, perpetuating the cover-up, making false allegations against innocent Americans. The American people have seen it, they have funded it, and they are tired of it. They're sick of it. They are entitled to the truth now, not after the election. They're entitled to understand all the players involved. And yes, I know the emails I will get from some of you later. Yes, I understand. That means some Republicans. It does. There are likely Republicans, especially on the Senate side, who may have been aware of these things, complicit in some way, who knows, whoever it is. It's the only way to drain the swamp. You drain the whole swamp. Even the swamp dwellers you thought you liked. You have to get, if you want to get the American justice system back, if you want to have faith restored in the national law enforcement agencies, the FBI, the DOJ, the entire DOJ, the NSA, CIA, all these people, you have to completely expose what happened, drain the swamp, indict these people, and send them off on their way to a fair trial with a jury. That is what you have to do. You can't let this stay under the rug. And there's a lot of talk about some of the players in Washington, not just Barr and Durham, but other people, that have the CIA right now, thinking that they can stall the orders to release things or stall releasing things that they don't really have a reason not to release until after the election, hoping that if Biden wins, all of this entire scandal, worst scandal ever in American political history ever, that the whole scandal can be swept under the rug. This is the goal of the Democrats, to hide the truth from the American people. The goal of President Trump, the actions of an innocent man are saying, I want it all out there, and I want it all out there now. I will take the consequences. I want it out there now. So that's brewing in Washington. We'll hear from Congressman Gomer tomorrow, what he might not know and think about all this stuff. But there are a lot of people, talking about the idea that this is now regularly referred to as Obamagate, that, the conduct of Obama, clearly from Brennan's notes, being aware that Hillary tried to cook up this scheme, aware that Hillary had this idea she could somehow convince the American public during the campaign and afterward that Trump colluded with the Russians. Obama very much aware of that, how much he was actually controlling and directing it. Many people speculate he had to be ultimately the head of it all. It probably had to be Obama. But the idea of the left-wing darling President Obama actually facing responsibility for the actions he took, it's a monumentally consequential time in American history. We do not lightly investigate past presidents and certainly not for relatively minor things. But this scandal, this abuse of power of the Department of Justice and the FBI and the CIA and the NSA, this abuse of power, the abuse of the FISA court system, the abuse of getting search warrants for innocent people based on lies, if you don't hold people accountable who cooked that up, who participated in it, who covered it up, you're really surrendering the integrity of the justice system in America. It is that serious. It is that simple. It is that absolute. There must be accountability. And so I still do hold out hope that we're going to get absolutely all the way to the bottom of everything that happened. I think that is what President Trump is pushing for. I think if he takes the advice of Sidney Powell, and she's saying you can't just authorize release, you have to order the release. He just may do that. And then we'll all find out, what Obama knew when he knew it, and what all the other players involved knew, and what they did. And even if you end up having people, you have threats from people who are going to be indicted saying, well, if you expose me, I'm going to expose this, I'm going to tell this. Let the chips fall where they may. You can't let a scandal of this magnitude go unchecked, go unrebuked, because otherwise you surrender the entire rule of law in America.